Good evening. Welcome to Stampin' by Hannah here on Facebook or on YouTube if you're watching the replay. I'm hoping to get this one up slightly quicker than the last week. If you missed last week's Facebook Live, it'll still be here on the page, or you can check it out over on YouTube because I did manage to get the last 2 weeks worth of lives up at the weekend. So there was some kind of bonus YouTube-y bits in the fact that you got 2 Facebook Live replays in one weekend. But hey, trying to be more organised, it's so not working at all. But I have a card for you today. I don't have anything else for you. There is other news. There is obviously new Code Club code, because we're sort of in the beginning of the month. That's over on my blog. There is a fun paper pumpkin kit that's currently available, I do believe. I will check everything, and there will be a blog post. It will go live in the morning, because I'm going to do it tonight, and it will all be there. So, I'm going to get... I don't know what's going on with my hair. Oh, it's... Oh, baby hair. Anybody else get this way? They've just got, like, crazy... crazy baby hair that just doesn't want to do what it's told. It's only going to get worse, isn't it, folks? It's only going to get worse. So, enough of me rabbiting and waffling on. Shall I tilt you on down and show you what we're going to make, or what we're going to use today? Because I haven't actually, once again, pre-made the card. So I'm going to spin you on around and tilt you on down and show you. This is the bundle we're going to use today. So it is a whale of a time. I love these pages. Anybody else open these pages in the Stampin' Up catalogue and just completely die? Because look at them. Look at the projects they've managed to make. And I did almost go, we could make that card as well as the one I've got planned. And then thought, no, Han. Let's stick to one special card, and I might do that one for the blog. So, this is Whale of a Time. It is one of the suites in the annual catalogue. So that's the big fat one. I do still have some of these available, so if you want one, do just drop me a message and I can pop one in the post to you. This is one of those suites where you get one item code down at the bottom here, and you get all the goodies in one kind of kit. You can also buy them separately, but I just like the fact that you just go, I really like all of that, let's just have that one item number done. Easy. So in here there is the Whale Done stamp set. You've got to love Stampin' Up names, because they do some fantastic names. This is Whale Done. It is photopolymer, as you can see. I think the whale might be the only stamp I've used so far, but still, love that a lot. There is then a coordinating whale punch as well. Now, I think this punch cuts out not only the whale in the stamp set, but also some of the whales in the designer series paper as well. And you guys know how much I love it when you've got either punches or dies that work with the designer series paper. And this paper is just stunning. Yeah, see, it cuts out those whales. There are some fabulous colours in here. It's 6x6, but you get heaps and heaps and heaps and more and more. Just loads. I think... Oh, the jellyfish might be fun today. I grabbed the pack of paper and then not quite picked what pattern we're going to use. I think we might use the jellyfish. So you can see there's just so much paper, and it's all stunning. There are loads of colours in here as well. Let me just... If I flip to the back of the catalogue, it doesn't... Oh no, here we go. Don't need to flip to the back of the catalogue at all. These are the colours in this suite. So you've got Calypso Coral, Bumblebee, Granny Apple Green, Just Jade, Pool Party, Pacific Point, and Blackberry Bliss. But I also think there is... That looks like Pretty Peacock to me. but that's the colours that they've listed here. Let me just check the back as well. Designer Series paper is usually listed twice in the catalogue. So it's listed kind of with the suite, but it's then also at the back where you can see them all together and just fall in love with them all. So it is here. We've got, yeah, I knew I'd seen Pretty Peacock, Balmy Blue, Blackberry Bliss, Bumblebee, Calypso Coral, Granny Apple Green, Just Jade, Pacific Point, Pool Party, Pretty Peacock, Shaded Spruce and Whisper White. Which is a lot of colours, but it is really pretty. Isn't that lovely? Right, so you've got all of those things. But you've then also got, so we've got the stamp set, the punch, the paper, this embossing folder. Can you tell I've had a really long day? This embossing folder, which is just stunning, we're going to use today. There then is the Whale of a Time sequins, also going to use these. We are going to use the whole suite today. And these are just a really pretty kind of mix of plain colours. So you've got some kind of plain Pool Party ones. And then you've got some more iridescent ones. But then you've also got these ones that are like, they're almost like, watch me kind of throw them everywhere. Like fish fins or tails, which I think is very cool. They're going to make awesome shaker cards with those. And the card that I'm going to make today could be, you could make it into a shaker card. And then the final thing in the suite is this lovely Pool Party sheer ribbon that has some shimmer to it as well. Can you see that? It's so pretty and really, really delicate. Love that. Ties very nice bows. So, shall we make the card? Now I've waffled on again about what is in the catalogue. So, oh man, this week has been insane. Work is going a bit mad. I am a nurse in my day job. And as you can imagine, nursing at the moment is quite busy. Although it has calmed a little bit since the height of COVID, but COVID is still there, people. It's not gone away. And we are still dealing with it. So yeah, trying to get kind of nursey things back to kind of normal, and then come and do this. But I love doing Facebook Live with you, and that's why I haven't stopped. So I have got that lovely piece of Designer Series paper with the jellyfish on. And then I have a Pool Party card blank, which is just a piece of A4. So it was, can you imagine? A4, cut in half and scored in half in the middle. Now, this is the sort of card I normally do. And I fold it at the top and make a 10-fold card. I'm not doing it today. I'm going to turn it that way. So it opens like that. Because I thought that was a nice... something just a little bit different. I've then got a layer of Pool Party that's cut 0.5 centimetre shorter and narrower, and a scrap of Whisper White. So we're going to deal with this layer first. We're going to do some die cutting and some embossing on it, and then we will do some stamping. So I have also got with me today the Layering Circles Framelits. Now I've got the old style ones that come in the older packaging, and with the old item number on. There is a newer version of these. They're probably better, but I'm working with what I've got. So I am going to want the whale. I should have sized up my what size I wanted first, but you know, that would require organisation and brain power that I just don't have. So yes, I'm going to go for the very, very biggest circle, I think. Yes. Like so. Squeeze all that back in there. And I'm going to move everything out of the way and bring in my big shot. Now, Stampin' Up have just released the brand new Stampin' Up die cutting machine, which is called the Stampin' Cut and Emboss, I believe. As you can tell, I haven't got one yet. the order is going in probably this weekend. Let me see if I can show you a picture because it's really pretty. I'm sure it's in this catalogue. Is it in this catalogue or was it in the other one? Oh, no, I can't find it. No. Anyway, that will be launched to customers in September. But if you are a demonstrator, you can get your hands on one right now and get 20% off it. So if you're not already a demonstrator and you'd like one, I think that's a great time to join, actually, and be a demonstrator and get your die cutting machine at a discount. Because it's going to be the must-have machine. You just know it is. So there I have die cut my circle from my piece of Pool Party. And then I am going to put this whole sheet into this lovely embossing folder. So I'm going to put it sort of slap bang in the middle. And I'm not explaining to you how I'm doing this because it's not right. With the new machine, it's different. All I'm going to say is you need to make sure when you're running embossing folders through your die cutting machines, anyone, that the fold, kind of that join bit, is going through the machine first. So run that through. I don't think that did anything at all. This isn't a 3D folder, is it? Nope. Let's put that back on. Try again. This is what happens to me when I attempt to die cut. It happens to me often when I attempt to die cut. I did this before. And I ended up with a kind of strange magical shim. Because the Stampin' Up, the new style Stampin' Up folders are designed to work with the new Stampin' Up machine, which I haven't yet got. So I do believe, oh sorry, that this was my shim last time, and I will try again. Nope, that felt a bit light as well. Oh, nothing like a disaster live on camera, is there? Oh no, that worked. It's faint. It's faint, but you get the idea. So, move that back out of the way. And we have got our lovely, admittedly faintly embossed, but I quite like that look actually. It's sort of embossed more here and here than it is in these bits. Love that. So, then, so we want it, I cut it. That was silly, wasn't it? So I'm going to do it, I'm still going to do it that way. Yeah, I am. Right, so there is my card base. And I now need a piece of designer scissors paper that's going to go behind that window. So, just going to bring in my trimmer. And I know that this piece is 10 centimetres across. So I'm going to cut this to sort of 9.5. By about 9.5, and that should do. And cover that, which it does. Lovely. So that's the kind of basis for my card. Then we need to stamp our lovely whale. Now I'm going to stamp him in 2 different colours. So I have got Pool Party and Pretty Peacock to hand. And I am just going to grab a sponge dauber. That one will do. All of my sponge daubers are pretty gross. I don't use them very often, but I do use it for this kind of technique. So I am going to ink up my whale in Pool Party, like so. And then I'm going to take some of the Pretty Peacock onto my sponge dauber. And I am going to pop that kind of along the top and the top of his tail, and just kind of blend it in a little bit. And I'm just dabbing the ink on with my sponge door, but Alison's saying she's sorry she's late. Alison, it is not a problem, honey. You can always catch up on anything you've missed, either when the video finishes or on YouTube tomorrow morning. So I'm going to breathe on that just to make sure I've got enough and make sure that I'm going to be able to punch this whale out. And look at him, so you've got a fun little two-tone whale. I think that's really nifty. So he will punch out with the whale punch. Like that. And anybody else like that, it takes them a little while to line the any punch. Doesn't matter, it could be a circle, it'll still take me a minute to line it up. So I've got our little whale. I'm going to close up my 2 blue ink pads before I put my finger in them. And I'm going to select a sentiment while we're doing our stamping. And I'm going to use Thanks a Ton, I think. Just like that. And I've shown you this before. I use my grid paper. This is Stampin' Up grid paper. I use it all the time. And what I do is I line my stamp up. This is a brand new stamp. Can you tell it's gone all sticky? On the line of my grid paper, so I know that that stamp is straight, if I could stop knocking it, because it's lined up on my grid paper. Then I take my clear block and I line usually the bottom edge up with another line, also on my grid paper. I now know that if I line the edge, any edge, up with the edge of my cardstock, it will be straight. I don't particularly need it to be straight today because I'm going to cut this out, but I kind of do it anyway by kind of just sheer habit. So I'm going to pop that in the corner in Calypso Coral. I am still working through old style and new style ink pads. And it's not a Facebook Live. If I forget something, I'll leave the other side of the room. So today was my scissors. So I'm now going to just chop out that sentiment, just freehand with my scissors. I'll trim that down a little bit, I think. Yeah, like that. How cute is this card so far? Love this. So we have got our, you coming in, Freed? I've got the cat wanting to join me today because I haven't shut the door of my office. Normally when I'm on Facebook Live, I shut the door because the baby's asleep. But my husband has gone out, so I have left the door open. Not that I'm about to run to the baby if she starts crying because I'm on Facebook Live. But I would if I really needed to. But she's not. She's absolutely fine. She will be asleep for a while yet. So just going to pop that probably about there with my new stamping seal. I am really enjoying this adhesive, actually. I wasn't sure about it when it first arrived, I have to admit. I was a bit like, oh, it's a bit tricky. It's not. It actually is quite easy to use. I am then going to turn over that piece of cardstock that we embossed and I'm going to cover it with dimensionals. So I want 1 in each corner. And normally I do 1 in each corner and 2 down the middle, but my middle is kind of gone. So I'm going to just kind of dot them around a little bit. Particularly if this was going through the post, I wouldn't want everything to kind of collapse in on itself. So a good number of dimensionals. They are very sticky. They do not just randomly fall off. It's more about making sure that the pressure is even across the card. So if it's not going to get skewed by those strange machines they use at the post office to process all the letters. So, taking all the backs off of those. I will find those all over my house later on. Anybody else do that as well? Find the backs of dimensionals, like really random places. Like the downstairs loo. My office is upstairs. I don't know how they end up down there. So we have now got our card base that's popped up. That lovely designer scissors paper behind it. I think that's really pretty. I pop Mr. Whale on there. And my sentiment. So I want 2 dimensionals. I'm going to stack them so he's double height. On top of the other. And I want a mini dimensional. Just because his tail's a little bit little for a big one. And I'm going to just have 1. Because I'm going to pop him kind of half on and half off of that circle. So he's popped up across. Can you see? So he's still popped up off this end as well. And then I want a couple of dimensionals on the back of my sentiment. And I'm just going to pop that so it's all in the circle, but it's kind of hanging off. Can you see? So that's flat to the card, but the whale is stood proud. And then it's just a case of making it even more pretty. So I thought, because I was considering, this ribbon, I want to use this ribbon on this card, basically, I just do. And I was considering feeding it through and tying a bow, but I'm now not sure. Or I was also thinking about some sort of, no, I'm not feeling that. I should plan these Facebook Lives, shouldn't I? But this is how I craft. Or I was thinking about, but I probably should have done that underneath my sentiment. I'll tell you what, let's do that. So, you have stuck something down with dimensionals and you want to get rid of it. Pair of scissors. See, these are the sort of tips, isn't it? These are the sort of tips that you need as a crafter. Snip it back off again. And I know I've got 2 funny bits of dimensional, but that's fine. Because we'll stick 2 more bits of dimensional where I had the other ones. And yeah, about that much, I think, of my ribbon. What I tend to do with this, when I do this kind of technique where you've got a piece of folded ribbon underneath the sentiment, because it's a bit awkward, I've got a mini stapler. I think this one might have been like W.H. Smith's, probably about 20 years ago. I do, yeah, it's old, but it does like cute little mini staples, which are lovely, even like to be on show, but I do tend to staple them so I know that ribbon's not going to unfold. And I'm going to pop that there, and then I can put my new dimensional piece of sentiment over the top, like that, and hopefully there's enough stick to keep it stuck. That's the cat coming back in again. She can't decide whether she wants to be in or out today. So that's that. And then I thought as well, just to make it really special, that we would scatter some sequins. So I've got a pack of mini dimensionals, not mini dimensionals, mini glue dots. And I'm going to pop my mini glue dots into little balls like that. And then I'm going to just place them around. Now, this is how I stick sequins on. I know other people who will use multi-purpose liquid glue and do dots of that. I just prefer this method. It just works better for me. So, fold, take a pick. I don't know how well you can see this. Fold your glue dot in half and you kind of roll it into a ball. And then stick that down onto your card And it's pressure related adhesive, so if you push it down with your finger, it should then stick to the card. It can get a bit messy. So I'm going to do 5 across the whole card. I'll put the last one down here, I think. There. And then, I'll put the end back on. I keep the end on my take a pic because I know that I will stab myself with that. And take the other end of your take a pic has got like a picky up gadget on it. So I can select my sequin and it'll hold on to it-ish. She says. It will sort of hold on to it. I want it the other way up. And stick that straight down onto my glue dots. Darker one. Well, all the different colours. I don't particularly want a pink one. That one over there. And one more. There we go. And that is my card for today. Thank you ever so much for joining me. I hope you have enjoyed this video. It's been a little bit of a disaster, hasn't it? But I'm sure you've had a good laugh anyway. Between me not being able to work my die cutting machine and making a mess of the sentiment and everything else that's gone on. Thank you ever so much for watching me. Don't forget, if you want to shop with me this month, there is a Code Club code available on my blog. Link is in the description, either up there on Facebook or down there on YouTube. I am going to go and write the blog post for this card now. That will go live at approximately 7 o'clock in the morning. Or now if you're watching this on YouTube. Thanks ever so much for joining me, and I hope to see you again next time. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.